Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden. It's been too long. It's been too long. The past 3 weeks have been full of other stuff that isn't what it normally has been, and I'm glad to see you all. I guess we did get a stream in at some point last week, or did we? I don't know. Welcome in, everyone. It's been 3 weeks at least since we last touched listed. So let me give you a quick rundown of what listed does. And then, yeah, we'll get into it, and we'll also type 1 in chat if this is your first time here in 3 weeks, because I'm curious, because it kind of seemed like it was a whole different crowd that was here for like React Roots and then here for the interviews and stuff like that. Wow, I mean, there's a few of you, and at least the ones typing in chat represent a certain amount of the audience. But yeah, so when we start coding, one of the first things we're going to do is update our dependencies, because it's been weeks. It's been more than 3 weeks since we last updated our dependencies, and that's usually quite a thing that happens. So we're going to do that, fix anything that comes up, and then we'll take a look at the PRs and issues. I know some people have opened some PRs and opened some issues on the app. But first, what is this app? We've been working on it for a while now. You can find more info all over the place. So the code is completely open source on GitHub, and pretty much every line of code in this code base was written on stream. So the code is on GitHub. You can see the devlogs in this YouTube playlist. So essentially, after almost every stream, I did a short summary of what we worked on in those streams. Except for the last one, which was like 3 weeks of work in a single video. So basically, if you haven't seen the stream before and you want to get caught up on like what we've been doing and what's involved, this is an easy way to do that. And then if you check out this playlist, it has all the live streams. And so I think technically this is day 15 of working on this app, because we only work on it on every Friday. So, but this app allows users to create, share, and watch lists of YouTube channels. We have OAuth integration using Auth.js, which is cool and works with SvelteKit. It's from the same team that brought you NextAuth. So that works. And then you can create lists. And the idea is you're combining multiple YouTube channels into a single list. So I'm not going to create one now because I have a bunch here that I can show you. For instance, the easiest one here is the Coding Garden universe, which only has 2 YouTube channels. I have my archive channel and my main channel, but this list smacks all of those videos into one feed. And this is just, we just got this working last time. And you can also like click on a video, it'll embed it. You get a nice little breadcrumb here. You get all the embedded info and everything else. And then it highlights the video that's playing. So we just got this working last time. Mark says top left of green screen has a black thing. This way or this way? I don't see it. Is it really that bad? I don't see it. Oh, I do see it. Okay, let me fix it. Both? Give me a second. You all just love to interrupt me while I'm flying, and you're just like, huh? And what's up, JMR? Thank you for that prime. All right, I'm gonna go silent for like a split second. Okay, it's gonna get really bright so that I can fix the fix the screen. Shield your eyes. Well, it's fixed on this screen because this screen is like expanded out. Look at me. I can move all around. Okay, but shield your eyes. It's gonna get really bright. Shield your eyes. All right, we're back. The screen is fixed. We will continue our overview of our app. This is pretty much the app. And last time we got this working, like the video embed in the list, but right now this only, and what's up, Melinda? Welcome in. This only orders the videos by when they were posted, so by post date. we want to add a bunch more filters. So you should be able to order by popularity across multiple channels. You should be able to order by number of likes, duration, that kind of thing. And so this is the Coding Garden universe, but we've created a bunch of other lists too. So for example, I like to watch GMM or Good Mythical Morning, and they have several YouTube channels across YouTube. So this list has Good Mythical More, Good Mythical Morning, Ear Biscuits, and Rhett and Link. They also have like Mythical Kitchen and a few others, but because I combine these into the single list, now it's one single filter, one single page that has videos from all 4 of those channels. And we want to add more filters too, because like sometimes I don't want to see shorts at all. So there should be like a little toggle here that says like hide the shorts. Or sometimes maybe I'm on the page and I only want to see videos from 2 of these channels. So I should have a way of just selecting the channels that I want to see on that page. Yeah, and then we need to, that's another feature we're going to add, which is like watch history. So basically this could almost become like a feed where you watch the videos and then they disappear after you've watched them. So like if you're trying to catch up on a channel that you recently found. For instance, you could also create a list of makers. There's a bunch more makers that I follow, but I haven't put them in this list yet. But this has I Like to Make Stuff, Make with Miles, Nerd Forge, Get Hands Dirty, and Simone Gertz. And so again, this list just has videos from all of those channels. You could do like coding related things. So this has the big boys on YouTube that do JavaScript related stuff. And Dequan, thank you for that resub. So this is listed. And this is day 15. We've been building it all on stream, and it's completely open source. You can actually see, yeah, there are 17 contributors to this app. This is probably the most contributors in a single app that I've built on Coding Garden. Which is cool because people have provided suggestions or made bug fixes, which is pretty awesome. Like all of the major feature work I've done on stream, but if somebody notices like an issue with the way I implemented something or they have ideas, I've reviewed those on stream and like merged them in. So like Vishal has a PR right now that adds a TypeScript Svelte plugin, which I haven't heard of, but apparently that's needed if you're not using VS Code. So I might merge that. The one thing is, so the other thing about following my development on this project is you get to see like open source development. I do not merge changes to a package lock because of potential security issues. Because package lock is like a massive file. And sure, Vishal is probably not malicious, but these several changes that got added here are extra dependencies that are basically like dependencies of this dependency, and I want to make sure that those are valid and like not malicious packages or things extra. So I'll probably I'm not going to do this right now, but I'm going to make a comment that you should not commit any changes to the package lock because I am the only one that changes the package lock. Yeah, and Dev Henrique, thank you for the Prime. Appreciate you. All right, someone asked what the stack was. Do we have any documentation on that? We should. There's a contributing guide. But honestly, let's put that on the list of things to do. Is just to make honestly, we should update the README with the tech stack because we got quite a bit of good stuff in here. There's a lot of dependencies for sure, but the basis is SvelteKit. So SvelteKit is a meta framework for building full stack applications and awaited. Thank you for the 34-month resub for building full stack apps with Svelte and then also having like backend stuff. So we're using SvelteKit, and then we're also using this UI library called Skeleton, which is a UI toolkit for Svelte and SvelteKit. And this is actually built on top of Tailwind. So we're using Tailwind and Skeleton. And then for our database, we're using Prisma. We actually have some cool stuff going on in here too. So if you look at our Prisma, we have a plugin for Prisma that generates a diagram. And so when you view this on GitHub, you'll also see this like embedded diagram of our database schema. You can see our schema there and how we're storing everything. I feel like we had some other, did we have other plugins that were doing cool Prisma stuff? Maybe not. But yeah, we're using Prisma for our database. It's also internationalized. So we're using type-safe, excuse me. Let's take a quick stretch. We've got work to do because I need to document this stack. I need to say hello to everybody. There's a couple of questions I want to answer in the chat. I'm getting back in the swing of things though, because if you've noticed, like over the past 3 weeks, I haven't been showing Twitch chat on my screen. So I got to get used to that again. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for that hydrate. The library we're using for internationalization is TypeSafe i18in. This one. And this one's really cool because you get type safety when you're doing your internationalization translations. So we're using this library, and then they have a package called TypeSafe i18in SvelteKit. But if you look in the directory here in lib, all of the translations live in here. And essentially, if you want to add a translation, well, don't yet, because I'm still working on the base English translations, and I want to get those down before people submit translations. But Jim McDonald, thank you for the resub. It's also been 3 weeks since we had a hype train. I feel like nobody was subbing or supporting when I was doing all those other things. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for the supports. You are very kind. Thank you. But for instance, if you look at English, this is just a little thing here, and it's got all of the translated tokens. And so basically, we're doing our best to not have a single bit of text in the actual templates. Like everything is pulled in from translations. So that way, when someone visits this site and they have their browser language set to German, then everything will be translated. So we're doing our best to do that. There's a couple of spots in the code where we haven't fixed that yet, but we're trying to do that. So basically all strings from the app go in here. And then if you want to translate them, you inherit from the base translation, which is English. And right now you can see the kind of like hacky thing we're doing, which is we're basically taking all the English translations and making those the default if they're not specified. But that's because we still have work to do. And before people start contributing translations, I want to make sure that the base translations are all good to go. Everything is at least somewhat stable before people start to translate, because when people submit a translation, it's going to need to be updated anytime I update the type or anything like that. Yeah, and so that's the other thing about type safety. So if I'm not doing this this little spread right here, then I literally get a build error and a type error that says, hey, you are missing these things that actually need to be translated. So this is the ideal workflow. If you're using this library, is like you shouldn't just spread the base translations. You should make it very clear that what needs to be translated. Yeah, what's up, Bogdanovich? A hype train is just a Twitch. It's a Twitch thing where there's a bunch of support events that are all happening. So anybody that subs with Prime, gives bits, gifts subs, or just does like a regular sub, increases the hype train level. And it's just kind of incentive to support me. You know what you can do, though? You can also check out my course, because I actually just launched it this morning. So if you were tuning in over the past 2 weeks where I was doing my live React Roots course, it is now available for everyone to purchase. So if you go to reactroots.com, it has all the info about the course. You essentially get about 16 hours of video instruction, 6 sets of reading materials, 6 sets of exercises, and then some project requirements. But this site gives a whole rundown of the course, and then you can buy it on SuperPeer. So the price is $35. You get all that stuff. And basically, if you were watching over the past 2 weeks, that's what these videos are. So you have each of these videos. But there's also a download. So whenever you unlock the course, this download right here has everything. This has slides, exercises, reading materials. It's everything in one little zip file. So for $35, you get all the materials, and then you can go back and watch the VODs as much as you want. And I guess just real quick, if you're wondering what the course covers, I tell you exactly what it covers. You can look at every single video. You see my learning objectives, and you can decide if this is something that you want to buy and learn React from. It's also on the main website here. So for any given lesson, click on it. You see every single learning objective, and yeah, that's a quick plug for my course. All right, hype train over. Thank you all for that hype train. Appreciate you. And I think that's it for the tech stack. So we use TypeSafe i18in.
Cheer 1500.
Hey, thank you, Awaited. You're a little bit late for the hype train, but thank you for the 1500 bits. That's awesome. Yeah, I bought a domain. I mean, not just for that page. I mean, it's React Roots. It's my branding, right? It's like, I'm Coding Garden. It's the roots of React, and I guess like it's also I think a really good foundation for building apps with TypeScript and React. Um, because I don't just cover React. Like if you look in the very first lesson, which I'm probably going to make this first lesson just available for free on YouTube, but this first lesson sets the context for everything. I talk about like what modules are, why we have modules, some of the more modern features of JavaScript that like you need with React. I think one of the things that this course does really well that I think a lot of other courses are missing and a lot of like React beginners are missing is differentiating between all the things that you're using when you're building a React app. Because when you're working in React, it's not just JSX in React. There's also modules, which come from ECMAScript and the ECMAScript standard. There's also like build things that are happening, like the fact that you can import CSS files or import images. That's from a build tool. There's also, in this case, we're using TypeScript, so you have types defined. And so I think my course does a really good job of breaking down what is what. So now when you look at a React component, you have a better mental model of, oh, well, that's actually just JavaScript. That's not even React specific, or that's TypeScript, or that's a module bundle, that kind of thing. Roots.com is probably not cheap if it is available. We honestly spent, I think we spent an entire stream setting up ESLint and Prettier, and I think there's still some issues with it. But that's another thing as well. So if you look at my ESLint config, it is using the Airbnb config, which I really like. Like I like the style guide. And then I've combined that with Svelte and TypeScript and also Prettier. And also like the Tailwind plugin. So all of that gives you like a pretty good dev experience in your files. So for instance, if you look like in a in a Svelte file, and there's some Tailwind classes in here. If we put these in the wrong order, you actually get this Prettier error because it's using the Prettier Tailwind plugin that says, hey, you need to put those in the correct order. And so then if you run ESLint fix all audible fixable problems, it actually does that as well. So we got a great dev experience. We got all those packages. That's what this app is. Today might just be maintenance. We're going to be updating dependencies, reviewing PRs and issues, and that might put us at the 3-hour mark. But before that, let's welcome everybody in. It's been a while, and I missed you. I missed you. Thank you for being here. And let's say hi to everybody. So if you would like to say hello to me, you can say hi, hello, hey, yo, cheers, greetings, hiya, sup, what's up, morning, afternoon, evening, howdy, good day, coding hiyo, vohiyo, bogahay, say any one of those things, and I'll acknowledge you before we get into this. And then after that, I'll tell you how to customize your chat messages too. You can see some people here have their country flag and like a nice little icon and like a status message. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And Revolt, thank you for that prime. But Moshiko was the first 30 minutes ago to say hello. What's up, Moshiko? Welcome in Milan Bhakta and PS Code and Darkham and Imagit. Hello, Old School Rapper and Greedons and Smiley and Extavila and Mariko and Demerka and Flues and America 2050. What's up, Oscar and Fun Planet and Alizito and JMR and Yanni. It's been a while. Glad to see you. What's up, Jim McDonald and Mind Coded and Ersmo and Veeb. I opened a PR to make this SvelteKit types work in other editors. Yeah, I saw that. Well, and if you want my feedback now instead of adding a comment, please do not commit the package lock. I'll update this myself. So if you can remove the package lock from your commit, I can merge that in today. So, but thank you, Veeb. Appreciate you. What's up, Noctate and Origin and Awaited, and what's up, Awesomest Awesome and Sonic Astra from Belgium. Very good. What's up, Kakus and Code Savant Croissant and Devboy and Fryman and Baleknoak and Judge JLo and Griffin and Tobholm and Damon and Just 7 Stars. And Physotronic, welcome in everybody. Glad to see you. A lot of new names. I feel like a lot of people found me over the last 3 weeks from all the React Root streams and then the interviews over the past week. And Pentro Pantera, welcome in from Mexico. Very good. Very good. Very good. I made my team count contributions by added lines. Since then, I only commit package lock files. I mean, there's so many changes that get added to the package lock. The package lock is useful. Like I'm asking them to remove this not because it's not useful, but it's a security issue if I just merge it in as is and I don't generate it myself. So yeah, so you want the package lock in your repo, and if Veeb updates that today, we can talk more about it. But like you want it there because it says specifically which dependencies got installed, but because there's so many changes to it, it's hard to review. So yeah. What's up, Silver Designs? America 2050 says, I know it'd probably not make much sense, and you could slow down the chat app. But would it be possible to make the flag and team reactive? Like I changed the team since the hello message, but that message contained the old one. Oh, yeah, yeah. The thing is, like, basically, this thing, if it sees the message, it just applies that style, and then any new message has that style. If I refresh the page, now I do believe it'll load in. Oh, actually, maybe not though, because that message in the database specifically. Oh no, maybe it will, because if we let's see. Yeah, see now it has the updated one. So it's just because the page has been open. I could change it. I could change it to be reactive. I don't know if I want to though. And thank you, Mihafum, for the hydrate. Cheers. Invisible cup. Cheers. Yeah. So I saw your message. I think I saw your message earlier. Do I have a recommendation for websites for job hunting, fully remote? I've linked, but it seems LinkedIn seems like last few months there's a big drop in job offers. Yeah, I think in general that's just like that's just what's happening. That's really unfortunate. I'll give you a couple, but I haven't job searched in 4 years, 5 years, so I don't really know. But the ones that I have looked at are like we work remotely. And feel free to throw in the chat if you know any resources for finding jobs. Yeah, Indeed is like one of the biggest ones, but I think I did see like we work remotely. If you look at like programming jobs, full stack, a lot of these actually are listed as EU or in other parts of the world. So if you hadn't heard of that one, you can check it out. And isn't there something like, oh, yeah, I think one of the jobs I got, I haven't had many jobs, but I think I actually found it on Angel List. Which lists startups. Remote OK is another one that I've seen. And Leak Geek, thank you for the resub. Angel List changed their name. I guess that thing didn't redirect. Remote OK looks really cool. What's up, Pablo? Welcome in. Yeah, like I said though, I'm not the best for resources because I haven't searched for a job in a long time. All right, let's talk about how to customize your name in my chat here, and then we'll get to doing some coding. It is well found. I'm curious though. So did somebody steal the name, or they don't list them on here anymore? Huh. It used to be angel.co. Okay. Well, ignore that one link that I sent you. This is the one that you want. Somebody stole the name. Yeah, I mean, we could do a whole stream on people giving us resources on like how to find jobs and stuff. 4-day work week. Fascinating. Fascinating. I'll be honest though. Time for to be really honest. I may go find a job soon. And Noku, thank you for the resub. My viewership is way down everywhere. Honestly, if you want to support me right now, go watch on YouTube. Look at this. Look at these videos that like don't even have 1,000 views yet. What are you doing? What are you doing? Go to youtube.com/codinggarden and watch my videos. Please, not that. And then also, you were watching live, but still, if you want to support me, you can go watch them on YouTube. So yeah, go follow on both YouTubes. Also, follow me on Twitter and like and retweet and stuff like that. All of my engagement is down everywhere. I think it's potentially that way for a lot of creators, but like I'm especially noticing it because my audience isn't as big, and so now it's like way less. So that's a thing. And then also go buy React Roots. Even if you don't need it, it's only $35. Just go pay $35, and that will really help me out. Because I'm looking at about like a month of runway. Basically, if I can't figure something out in a month, it's gonna drop down to like one stream a week, and I'm gonna go find a full-time job. And that's just the reality of the situation. So. Well, here's the thing. If I do find a job, it's not going to be a regular dev job because, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I burnt out to begin with. So I'm probably going to be looking at like tech adjacent things, like not direct developer jobs, but very likely um, like developer advocate, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think no, like I've thought about all this, and I mean I haven't had the time to really like make a game plan here, but yeah, I understand that the people that are doing really well, like 90% of them have a very active Twitter. Um, and I'm following 0 people, and the only thing that I post is links to my Twitch chat. I don't know. I've talked about this before though. If you want to support me, watch my stuff, follow me everywhere. That's the easiest thing that you can do. Um, so yeah, but we'll talk about that later. But just let it be known that a month from now, you might see a whole lot less Coding Garden unless you start engaging with my content and also sharing my content and stuff like that. All right, let's talk about how this chat overlay works. As you can see, Pablo has their pronouns set, he, him, his. They also have a country flag, which is some flag in Italy, which I actually don't know, province number 67. And they also have the SvelteKit badge. And they set their status as an advertisement, which I'm completely okay with, because if you haven't checked out Svelte Lab, it's sweet. And Pablo worked on this as part of like the Svelte Society hackathon. But this is like a Svelte specific in-browser editor that like works on mobile and like is progressively enhanced and stuff like that. It's pretty sick. Go check that out. But as you can see, he's customized all those things. And America 2050 has the Argentina flag. Is that yeah, Argentina, and is that the Fandango logo? So you too can customize your chat messages. First of all, if you want to set your pronouns, you can choose from this list. And Sharon, thank you for the prime. She, he, they, co, none, they, hi, it, one, m, or yo. Pick any one of these, and then in the chat, if you do pronoun followed by one from that list, all of your messages will have those pronouns on them. And then if you want to set your team, you can choose from one of 2 places. So you can look over on the Font Awesome brand cheat sheet. So pick any one of these brands here, or if you look on Simple Icons. So if you go to simpleicons.org, you can get like a visual list and like try to find an icon that you want. But when you send the chat command, you need to pick a slug, a slug from this list. What's up, Finder the Icewing? What is happening right now? Listen, you have the VIP badge. I'm pretty sure you can figure it out. You have 60 seconds to tell me what's going on here, and if you can't, you lose your VIP badge. You have 70 seconds. 70 seconds. Go. Okay, you got time. How are you gonna figure it out? Finder the Icewing. Clock's ticking. So you can look at the simple icons. And Sharon, thank you for the gift. That's very kind. Thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Svelte. So yeah, you can pick from this list. So let me change my team badge. So right now I think it's like the Amazon S3 bucket. Let's pick one. Here we go. I'm gonna choose the Alfred one. I use Alfred. It's my command launcher. So in the chat, I can do team, followed by anything from either Font Awesome icons or Simple icons, and then now every chat message will have that. Check your previous message. Yep. True. And Smiley, thank you for the 5 gifted. You're very kind. Oh, TypeScript Tea Time got gifted. They've rated us before. Oh, King's Day. Okay, you get to keep your you get to keep your VIP Finder the Icewing. Yeah, but if you're new here, the today command is always going to help you out with what we're working on. I mean, at any given time though, I'm always distracted. So like right now, I'm giving an overview of how the chat overlay works. And it's probably been 2 months since I've done that. So that's what I was doing just now. But if basically there's a lot of people watching, a lot of people come into the Twitch chat, and I can't answer every single message. So like the next time you come around, if you're curious what I'm working on, the today command is the easiest thing to do. Yeah, so for listed, we're using the YouTube API, and that's like the past 3 streams were all about YouTube API integration. But basically, when you go to this page, it actually reaches out to the YouTube API, gets all of the metadata, and then puts that into a Redis cache. I guess that's another tech stack thing I didn't mention. We're using Redis to cache our API responses. And then when you click the video, this is all like cached metadata, but the embed is actually coming from YouTube, and this is just using their embed API. But did you all tune into my interviews last week? I interviewed Jake Archibald and True and Jordan and Wes Boss. It was a good time. Go watch all the the interviews that I did. I don't think I saw your question, Silver Designs. Let's see. Ask it again. I don't even see it in the chat. Oh, there it is. No, I don't. Wait, is that it? Just ask it again. So 1 or 2, nice. I did my best. The thing is, like, if you've watched Coding Garden, you know that like I'm not an interviewer. It's not a thing I normally do. I'm also like really awkward. So I think these came off decent. I think they were all right. Okay. Cool. Sounds good, American 2050. All right, I tell you how to do the thing. I guess you can also set your status. So you can see that America 2050 has a little status. Pray well, el auténtico mate argentino. I'm better than decent. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. I appreciate that. Find to the ice wing. I think that's another way that you can support me is just put me on in the background. Like even if you're not watching actively, it helps because like just one little bump in the viewership now makes it so that other people on Twitch potentially find me. And the thing is on Twitch, when people see that number, they're like, oh, I should be involved with that because the number is big. I appreciate that, Veeb. I don't know. I didn't know how the icebreaker questions would come across because like, I kind of just like, I wanted to find something that got people chatting. And it's interesting because some of the questions were like instant answers, no conversation, but then some of them you can see like piqued their interest, which I think was good. You get to see more of the person rather than just like the technical side. Yeah. Oh, unfortunate to hear Finder the Ice Wing. Previous question. Prisma seems. Oh yeah. Prisma seems nice, but do you need a proper DB for it? I mean, as an ORM, can you make a Prisma file for a JSON file or be adaptable in the future? So Prisma is an ORM that integrates with existing databases, and we specifically are using Postgres. So we actually have a Docker container running that is our Postgres database, and that's how we're connecting Prisma to it. But if you look at Prisma, you can see what they support. And I don't know how to find that. Here, so this list shows you the databases you can talk to Prismas with. So Postgres, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, SQLite, CockroachDB. That's that. And I think they also support like MongoDB. So where's that? I thought they supported MongoDB. But yeah, so you can't just use it to talk to like a JSON file. What you could do if you want a flat file database is you could just talk to SQLite because SQLite is a flat file SQL database. And so like if you didn't want to have to talk to a full-fledged Postgres server or MySQL server, you could just use SQLite. But in terms of deployment, you need a persistent way of deploying if you want to do SQLite because all of those changes get written to a file. And if you deploy to serverless, the SQLite database file isn't going to stick around. There are some like, yeah. But basically, yeah. So there's no way to do just like JSON. And I thought they supported MongoDB. And if they do, I think there are, you could potentially, yeah. So they do have a MongoDB database connector. And I think I don't know if it's like fully supported, but there are ways of doing like an in-memory MongoDB, and so like, or they have like JSON compatible databases that have the same API as MongoDB, so something like that could work. But in general, Prisma is all about talking to like a real database. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that, GPT. Well, Entropy Chat was, I feel like we wanted to make it a community project. I don't know. Yeah, and then there are like the thing is, if you there are database offerings that you can use with Prisma. So like PlanetScale is actually MySQL but scaled. And if you look in their scalable, and like it also works like on serverless. But if you look in their documentation, they have a way of integrating PlanetScale with Prisma, because at the end of the day, it's like it's MySQL under the hood, and Prisma supports that. So yeah. Mongo is bad. Thank you, default. Let's click here. So these are all the possible data sources. The data source API. Postgres, MySQL, SQLite, SQL Server, MongoDB, CockroachDB. So that's the definitive list of what they support. Yeah, so I was thinking there were some other offerings that like give you SQLite on the edge. It's a whole thing. But yeah. Yeah. Why is Mongo bad? People just don't like that it's not structured. There's a lot of there's a lot of hate for MongoDB. I think in general, like you could there are perfectly valid production applications built with MongoDB and other things, but a lot of times when you're building an app, your data just has relations in it. And you typically want to reach for a SQL database for that. And the thing is, a lot of people use MongoDB, but they use it like a SQL database, and then they wonder why their queries are slow and stuff like that, because there's a lot of things that MongoDB doesn't have internally that like a SQL database would have, and that's fine for certain use cases. It's fine, but yeah. It's nuanced, because I mean, I've built production applications with MongoDB, but people do love to hate on it for sure. Okay, yeah. So it would be a cool idea to revisit the inventory app, but almost as a series of like updating a legacy code base, because if you look at the inventory app, it was written over 2 years ago at this point, and so it's a JavaScript code base. Is not written with TypeScript. So it actually would be really fun to have a series where like I gradually convert this to TypeScript. And I guess one of the other interesting things is like we already designed the database, like the schema. So we could actually also show some things like with Prisma. So Prisma can actually reverse engineer your database. You can point Prisma at an existing SQL database and it'll generate a Prisma schema for you. So that's like another way to modernize this database, is instead of using connects, we could just use Prisma, and then all of our like API routes get much easier, because you can see like our model, we were using objection, which is pretty cool. But it's not as full featured as Prisma, because Prisma is not only an ORM, it's a migration tool, and like they have the ecosystem of plugins and everything else. But yeah. Fascinating. Yeah, I mean, I haven't even tried to deploy the Prisma stuff that I've been working on lately, so that'll be interesting to look into. Yeah, so if you're into genealogy and use family search, you're using MongoDB. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is like it's not to say that you can't do relationships with MongoDB. It's that for certain scenarios, MongoDB doesn't enforce those relationships. And so that's what you get with a SQL database. Now, more recent versions of MongoDB actually support schemas, and I think you can. I don't know if you can do like a foreign key constraint like you can in a SQL database, but that's typically what people mean when they say that MongoDB isn't good for relationships, because like you can represent relationships, but they're not enforced at the database level. But like in SQL, if you have a foreign key constraint, then your database will literally not let you put data in there if anything violates that foreign key constraint. So for instance, like in our schema, let's take a quick stretch. in our schema, we have relationships between, like, just, I guess, if you just take into account, like, the auth system. So we have users, so this represents the user table. And then users also have accounts. And so, like, a user is the base info about a user. But then when someone logs in with Google, we're also going to insert some data over here in account. And you can see that account has user ID right here. And this relation, and so we're looking at a Prisma schema, but honestly, like, if you looked at the SQL code, you can actually see that that foreign key constraint that gets added. So here's the user, here's the account. By default, they're just two separate tables. And so, like, you can do a similar thing with MongoDB where you have two separate document stores. But the one piece here is this foreign key constraint on user ID, because there's actually a constraint in here that says when you insert a row into the account table, user ID must exist in the user table, and that's enforced at the database level. If you wanted to do that in MongoDB, typically you'd have to, like, write application code that, like, enforces it first, but you just get that for free in a SQL database. I think they're honestly, these days, like, MongoDB has added so much stuff. There might be more that you can do, but that's basically what I mean when I say it can't do proper relationships. Yeah. What's up, the Gene Hawks? Planning on doing a master's in cybersecurity. Any pointers or tips I should keep in mind? I don't know. So, I mean, I was super interested in cybersecurity when I was in university, but I ended up just being a dev. I don't know, break things, explore, have the hacker mindset, which I think I still have, which is just like, don't be afraid to explore and break things. But in terms of getting a job in cybersecurity, I have no idea at all. Yeah, and that's the other thing about Postgres is that you can technically have, like, a JSON column. Yeah. Vector databases, yeah. Yeah, you can find, oh yeah, people did the commit. Thank you, everybody. Everybody's helping out. And both Veeb and SQL Gorster, appreciate you. But yeah, this is the timer that keeps popping up to tell me to stop talking. The relationships is in the model and schema. You can only have indexes at the database level. What? I don't know what you mean by that, but basically, yeah. And I think, honestly, this is one of the pieces I think of SQL database design that a lot of people don't exactly get is, like, yes, you can create these two tables, but and technically, if you didn't have that foreign key constraint, you could still put in a user ID in here, and you could still do joins. But the foreign key constraint is how you basically enforce that relationship at the database level. And then you also, on top of that, want indices or indexes. Indices? You want indices so that your joins and your like lookups on insert are much faster as well. But yeah. Do I have a data fetching library recommendation for React? React query or TanStack query. But you need a API requester on top of it. So this gives you some really cool hooks where basically you say, this is the data that I want, and then it caches it behind the scenes. It does retries, and then it automatically gives you, like, loading error and data, but it doesn't provide the actual, like, requester. So I typically combine it with Axios. People don't like Axios because it's a pretty large dependency, and they're like, just use fetch, but fetch doesn't do some things by default. There's Redaxios. I think, is that what it's called? Maybe it's not. Yeah, so this is like Axios, but it's a wrapper of fetch. In my experience, the TypeScript types are actually, like, not as good as the actual Axios library, but this is much smaller, and it behaves like Axios, and then you can use it with fetch. A lot of people have been using and talking about Kai. I just really like the Axios API is the thing. Like, I just keep using Axios. But basically, you would, like, combine those with something like TanStack query. Because TanStack query by itself doesn't have a data fetcher. It's just all about wrapping promises. And then, like, those requesters fetch promises or wrap. Requesters return promises. Yeah. Learn to reverse engineer. Understand it. If it was put together in one way, it can be taken apart in millions of ways. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I also kind of have the reverse engineering mindset of just, like, I mean, I used to do a lot of content around, like, web scraping, and a lot of that you're kind of reverse engineering the way that a web page was built. It's not obviously it's not as low level as like reverse engineering like a binary or something like that, but it's a similar mindset of just like working backwards to figure out how something works, like and also like inspecting network traffic and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't have the only course that I have right now is the React Roots course. Um, and I want to do other courses, but it takes a lot of effort, and I have no idea if this one is even going to be successful. The thing is, I know there is a demand for more intermediate courses. I would just have to put the materials together, because that's one of the courses that I've thought of is um, basically like talking about what makes a code base a production ready code base. And so you have things like securing the app, but also like if you're working on a large team, you also have like code structure and stuff like that. So those are things I would like to talk about, but just haven't found the time. I've been live for an hour. I probably need to take a quick break, but we haven't even written any code yet. Yeah, I'm really excited about JS Nation. It's gonna be awesome. It's actually super interesting because like I have not met many people in the dev community, like people that give conferences or like do podcasts or different stuff like that. So it's actually super interesting that a lot of the people I'm gonna be meeting for the first time, I'm meeting in Amsterdam because they're like from the US and I live in the US. But definitely check out JS Nation. I'll be there as an MC. I'll be introducing speakers, and all these cool people will be there too. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah. I guess that's good to know. But the one thing that Fetch doesn't do is it doesn't throw an exception on non-successful status codes. You have to implement that yourself. Also, you have to implement content type negotiation. So a lot of APIs are not consistent, and so if their success response typically returns JSON data, so parsing the response as JSON works perfectly fine. But if they return an error, sometimes they don't return JSON, and so then you need to write code that looks at the content type headers of the response. Axios does all of that. So when am I going to start on listed? I don't know. I don't know. Do live stream count as courses? So the live streams that I did for React Roots, I would say absolutely, yeah, these do, because it's very different than like what I'm doing right now, where I'm just talking to chat and not working on the thing that I said I wanted to work on. Because if you look at React Roots, I had a very specific plan for what we were going to do in those 2 hours, and I had learning objectives, and I wasn't just answering random chat questions. We were purposefully doing these things, and so like even though this course was live streamed, in a way, I kind of wanted to give it the feeling of being a course, like a where you would go sit in a classroom and learn from someone, versus like the traditional online courses you see like on Udemy and stuff like that, which a lot of them are just code alongs, right? They're like literally the instructor wants you to type out the code exactly that they're typing, and that's not what this lessons in these courses are. So like I like this format, and I think people get more out of this format. It requires more of them because it's not just copying exactly what I'm doing. You should be taking notes, thinking critically, and then I have exercises where you can practice. But from a educational standpoint, I like the way that I did this course. It was presented as live streams, but you could think of it as just like a classroom with a 2-hour lesson. But you can see each of these lessons is like almost exactly 2 hours, and like I did a lot of work to make sure that I have specific things that I'm covering in here. I have examples. I do some live coding, and then there's exercises where you can practice. So these are not traditional live streams for that I did for React Roots. Very different than what I'm doing like right now. And I would like to do other courses in a similar way, because the people that got to like basically sit in on the class. So I mean, if you purchase React Roots, in the videos you'll see me answering questions that people have in Discord and stuff like that. And I got really good feedback from the people that participated, because for the people that were paying participants, they also got to ask me questions after the lesson. And so they're working on exercises. They would message me on Discord like, hey, I need clarification on this or different stuff like that. So It's way different than the other online courses. And it is different than what I'm doing right now, because right now is a live stream, but it's not a course because I'm just talking. I'm just talking. Yeah. Should start my stream and just chatting. Yeah. Is Solid better than React? Better is subjective. Does the resulting code result in a more performant web app? In most scenarios, yeah, like by default. But React is not just React. React is also the ecosystem of React. And Solid is so new that it can't compete with that. So converting data to JSON isn't that hard to do. I think you were referencing something I said earlier, but I don't think you. I don't know. Default says React Roots was super useful. The format was so much better for me and my brain than any other course I've taken. Well, thank you, Default. Were you in the Discord or? Oh, you were in the Discord, weren't you? Appreciate that. Can you tweet that? Are you on Twitter? Because what I also want to do for the React Roots website is I need to embed some like testimonials of people that were in the course. And what's up, Super Cute? Welcome in. And what's up, Kaizen Codes? It's been a really long minute. I know you've been doing YouTube videos. Do you stream on Twitch? I'll follow. I'll follow you. It's more hands-on to apply what you learn on each episode. I see. Yeah. I mean, that was the idea. I don't know. All right, let's get into listed. So, we did a bunch of chatting, but now it's time to write some code. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna update our dependencies. So this is a code base we've been working on. This is technically day 15, but we've only been working on it once a week, every Friday. So 15 days of development, but technically like over the course of 15 weeks. Is that true? How many months is that? Man, it's been too long. We've been working on this thing way too long. But what we need to do is update our dependencies because it's been a while. Now, there are automated ways of doing this. But we're going to do it in a way where we potentially will have to fix some breaking changes as well. And that's just what we're going to spend some time on. So I kind of want to, Fob. Yeah, so like, you are in the Netherlands. Cool. I'll have to work out the details, and maybe I'll message some people on Discord for people that like live in Amsterdam and like know a good place to meet up, because I'm actually going to be arriving on the 30th. I'll probably be like jet lagged, and then I have like dress rehearsal on the 31st. JS Nation is on the 1st. React Summit is on the 2nd. The 3rd is actually a hangout day with all the people from the conference. They're like going to be doing like a boat ride through the canals, and then I leave on the 4th. So the 30th, 31st, or the 3rd could be a nice day to just like meet up at a cafe with people that are close to Amsterdam that aren't going to be at the conference. Or maybe even like the evening of the first day. I don't know. We'll work it out, but we should definitely do a channel on Discord where we can figure that out. Because I'd love to meet you all, especially like if you can't get to the conference, but I'm there, so it'd be fun to meet you. Yeah. Oh, no worries, Kaizen. Yeah, thanks for being here. Cool. Okay, so good call. We're gonna merge this one in from Veeb. So they just added the TypeScript Svelte plugin and then modified the TS config. So this PR is super simple to review. This is all they did. I haven't heard of this thing, so let's review it really quick. It has 1,000 weekly downloads. It's from Svelte Language Tools deploy. But apparently you need this if you're not using VS Code. Fascinating. All right. I accidentally closed my chat. Let me open it back up. And then we'll merge this in. What is this though? I mean, I know I can trust you, Veeb, because like you've helped with stuff before, but like they don't even link to GitHub on here. Um, is it just in this repo? There it is. This is the one. Okay, seems fine. Let's merge it in. The chat is not, it's not working. Give me a second. So I want to do an IRL stream in Netherlands. I need to figure out data plans because I think I can do an unlimited. Oh boy. I think I can do. I can update my Verizon plan to be unlimited overseas, but I need to figure that out. Yeah, and I need to practice riding a bike between now and when I go to Amsterdam, um, because I'm way out of practice. It's been a really long time since I rode a bike, and I know they basically Amsterdam is bike culture. So, but yeah, Simul Shift is asking, does Svelte start to get roughed in big projects compared to React? Um, I don't know if I have a good answer for that. And I don't even know if you can call this a big code base yet. Like, I've worked on much larger code bases. It's just taken us a long time to get a lot of this set up because SvelteKit is newer and we've kind of had to figure out a lot of these things as we go. So, like, technically we have like 5 pages. I've worked on apps that are 10, 20 times this size. So I don't even think I can answer that yet. I would say so far, like, I'm enjoying it. There's some pain points of SvelteKit, like, it's really weird that all the files are kind of named the same thing, but you do get used to it. And I do kind of like this model of separating backend and front end code. It's like very specific and distinct, and I like it. Compared to like server components with React, this model is much more flexible, and they figure out a lot more for you that you don't have to do manually. Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Specky? I'm going to be in Amsterdam at the beginning of June, which is why I'm talking about it. I'll be there starting on May 30th. Okay. All right. Let's merge this in. All right. I digress. But the thing is, if you're new to Coding Garden, this is how it always goes. Why did the checks fail? Oh, somebody opened an issue about this. I think it's like using the wrong version of Node or something like that. It's fine. We're just gonna. Well, actually, no. I'm not gonna merge it in. What I'm gonna do is um, I'm gonna bring this branch down locally, update the package lock, push to this, then merge it in. So let's actually do that. Do I have permission to push here? First of all, I think I'm gonna need this remote. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna add Vishal Balaji here. So now that I have their remote, I can pull down this branch, type safe other IDEs. What? Oh, I pasted the wrong origin. I need this. Git remote set dash URL, this one with that. Okay, so now if I do a git fetch, now I have access to that branch. Now we can check out that branch. Or not. I'm in a detached head. Git is hard. I do it like this, there we go. Okay, so now I'm not a detached head. I'm on that branch. If I do an npm install locally now, that will update the package lock. Use the GitHub command line. I've never used that before. Where did this vulnerability come from? It's in SvelteKit, which we need to update. But we'll do that afterwards. Okay. But now that I did an npm install, I updated the package lock. We can see the changes that that got made here. So we add that, and then there's actually a couple others that got added that didn't get added by Vishal. Is Git bad by design? No, it's complicated. There's a lot of commands you got to remember. All right, so now we're gonna add this package lock, and then we'll commit it. And then I don't know if I have push privileges to Vishal's remote. We'll see. If I don't, could you add me, Vishal? Because basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to push back up to this remote, which will show up here, and then when I merge it, it'll have the updated package lock. So if I do git push origin, that not origin, git push the origin name, and then the name of the this name of the branch. Push to my remote in a separate. I've done that before, yeah. So basically, I would have to make my own pull request though, and like close this pull request. Technically, you would still get credit for the commit because your name is in this log here, right here. I can do that. Yes. Is that what you want me to do? I think the last time I did that, people were like, "Why didn't you just push to their remote?" Also, why is this HTTP instead of SSH? Everything's going wrong. There we go. That's what I want to see. So now, if I look at this PR, because I pushed up to that remote, it should show up on the PR. There it is. So now we've collaborated. So they modified the package lock in the TS config, didn't make any changes to the package lock. I updated the package lock, and I talked about this earlier, but basically changes to the package lock usually update like many lines within the file. So it's tricky if you just merge it in blindly. So I at least trust the fact that my machine probably isn't compromised, so I generated the package lock myself instead of having someone else generate the package lock. That's basically the whole reason we did this. And then at this point, I don't even need to wait for the changes. Merge. You can review them, but that's what I'm saying is I didn't want to. So I basically had them remove their package lock and then just did the npm install locally so that my my package lock is the one that got committed. Okay, but you can also see that now if Vishal wasn't already a contributor, I think you've helped us out before. Maybe not. But now they're also listed under contributors, and you can see that we both have our little faces on this commit because we both contributed to that. Okay, so now if I check out main, and I pull from main, cannot pull with rebase. You have unstaged changes. That's okay. I can pull from main, and I have those changes in there, like the updates to the package lock and the package lock.json. Git stash is what I use to, it's basically I had changes to this that I didn't want to commit. So that stashed them. And then when I pop it, it brought those changes back. Yeah. So, I mean, the reason is there can be a lot of changes to the package lock that are potentially malicious. Like there could be some package added that you didn't want added in that package lock, which is why I want to update it myself and not just accept it from a pull request. Okay, we're good to go though. So now if I do an npm install, we should get that TypeScript plugin, and there's no changes to the package lock because we're on the latest package lock. And now we can do our changes, which are going to make changes to the package.json and package lock. So I use this package called npm upgrade. It does an interactive upgrade. So it looks at your package.json, and then it tells you all of your packages that have new versions. You can see there's a lot. Okay, so anything that's in red is going to potentially be a breaking change. Yeah, and so it's a good point. Like technically you could do that. I didn't want to do that. I want to generate it on my own machine and then call it from there. But yeah, you're totally right. If you want to review it, you could do it yourself, do a diff, and then go from there. This actually wasn't that bad because there's only one package installed, but sometimes if someone installs like several packages, it's going to change a lot in the package lock. So yeah. How do I merge others' codes contributed to my project? So it all has to do with the pull request workflow on GitHub. So basically what Vishal had to do was fork this repo. So they clicked this button, it created a copy on their account. And then now that Vishal had the copy on their account over here, they had write privileges. So they were able to, so once you have a copy, you can do whatever you want to it. But once they modified their copy, they wanted to get those changes into the main repo, and that's where a pull request came in. So Vishal opened a pull request that basically said, hey, I made these few changes, please merge them in. And then I merged them in with a little bit of extra work to add some other things. But that's basically how Vishal was able to contribute to this code base without write access. It's almost like you make a copy, you make the changes, and then you ask, hey, will you please merge these changes in? And that's what a lot of people have done. Now we have 18 contributors in this code base now. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna first update all of the things that are in blue, which means they are just minor version bumps, which means, am I saying your name right? Is it Vishal? Vishal? But yeah, I'm gonna update the ones that are not breaking changes first. Make sure everything still works, make sure the test pass. Then we're going to update these one by one and then fix any breaking changes that might have happened. So anything that's red, we're not going to update, but anything that is green or blue, we will. So if you're not familiar with semantic versioning, that's these three numbers. And when you see a package on NPM, it typically has a version, like Svelte language server is 0.15.9. And this TypeScript Svelte plugin is 0.3.2. So this is using semantic versioning. Might be anyways. Simver. And these three numbers actually mean something. So this first number means the major version. If the major version changes, there are breaking changes, meaning if I update, then there's going to be some potential things I need to fix in my code base. If the second number changes, that's the minor version, and that typically is introducing new features. And if that changes, you typically can be sure that there aren't breaking changes. So all of these that are in blue are minor version bumps. And if the package is following semantic versioning, there shouldn't be any breaking changes. Some packages don't follow semantic versioning. Yeah, like TypeScript. That doesn't follow semantic versioning. But that's that. And then if the last number is updated, that's the patch, which typically just means like a bug fix. And so if a library is following semantic versioning, we can kind of trust that, okay, so this version, currently I have 4.11 installed, 4.13 is available. Yeah, we'll talk about that next, American 20 Like, why is this one red if the major version didn't change? So this is our change here, which is just going to be a minor version bump, which there shouldn't be breaking changes. Now, like Supercube is saying, if the first number is 0, then that means if this number changes, there are breaking changes. And typically, and I don't know if that actually, I don't know if that's in the standard. Yeah, so I think it is though. So yeah, it's major version 0 for initial development. Anything may change at any time. So what that means is like this auth core package and auth SvelteKit and even vtest. These are not at version 1 yet, and they're following the fact that, so because they're not at version 1 yet, if the minor version changes, they're considering it a breaking change. So that's why these are in red, because even though they're not, like, this number isn't changing, it's potentially a breaking change because they're not at version 1 yet. And so the whole idea with that you can follow in your project with semantic versioning is basically these are like early releases before finally like everything solidifies, and then when you're at version 1, then they start to follow this type of semantic versioning. I don't know if I've seen this one. Yeah. Workflow. Changes in version 10.17. The CPU no longer overheats when you hold down spacebar. This update broke my workflow. My control key is hard to reach, so I hold spacebar instead, and I configured Emacs to interpret a rapid temperature rise as control. That's fascinating. They're using breaking changes in a constructive way. Yeah. Can I make an announcement? Yeah, I absolutely will. And I think I'll start. Honestly, I should probably just create a channel in Discord now so people can start chatting and figuring that out. Because I know there's at least 2 people that want to say hi to me in Amsterdam. So, Viv says, I never really encountered Simver being used as per the exact original spec. It's sort of good starting point to modify it to fit your workflow. Yeah, and that's basically what I'm saying. It's like I'm hoping that all of these things are following semantic versioning. So if it's blue or green, I'm going to update them now. That's what we're going to do. So next auth Prisma adapter got a patch bump. So it went from 1.0.5 to 1.0.6. We're going to add it. Prisma client got a minor version bump. Luxon's good. Yeah, and if you were following the project early on, Skeleton had not reached version 1.0 yet. But as you can see, the last time we updated this, we went to version 1. And since then, there haven't been any breaking changes. They're just adding new features and bug fixes. And what's up, Codex? Welcome in. Remind me, Fob, are you in the Discord, Fob? If you're in the Discord, just ping me, and then I'll remember to do it after stream. Okay, here we go. Oh, no! That's fine. Concurrently, I know is probably going to not be a breaking change, because concurrently, we're just using in our dev process. So, what's up, Electrothermal? So this is a tool that allows us to run 2 different processes in parallel. We're not actually using it in our code. This is literally the only place we use it. I'm okay with doing a major version bump on there. All right, ESLint is good. Yep. OCSS, prettier plugin Tailwind CSS. Again, this is a plugin for our dev tools, and we're not using it directly, so I'm okay with the bump there. Seems fine. Yep. Vtest. Also, we actually we only have like 1 unit test. And I think we have like 1 integration test. So honestly, I think this is fine. Shouldn't be breaking. Here we go. So all that's going to be updated, and all that did was update my package.json. Now, if I do, and I'm going to kill my dev process because it's using some of those. But now, concurrently, now mine's Bitcoin. Yeah. But now, if I do an npm install, it's going to get all of those latest versions and update my package lock. So let's do an npm install. Hopefully actually no, we didn't upgrade SvelteKit, did we? No, we did. Yeah, so hopefully those vulnerabilities go away too with these updates. The closest of using Dino in production is nice. No more vulnerabilities. Love to see it. Okay, so we updated our packages. Now, let's run the test and see if the code base still passed the basic test. So right now it's just a smoke check, which is basically, actually, before we can run tests, I have to do a few other things. So SvelteKit has this command called sync, which like generates the type as well. We need to be sure to run that because that like generates the types that are used in the tests. And then I guess also if we run a type check, we'll make sure that these updated dependencies didn't introduce any like weird type errors like this, which they did. So apparently, even though Skeleton didn't say it was a breaking change, they might have actually changed how they bring in how you add it to your project. So let's just update that. What's up, Alka? That's a really long emote. It's multiple. I guess they're all next to each other in my UI. All right, let's see how they say for a manual install. Oh, did they change it again? So we look at our Tailwind config. We now have a type error, and we possibly were bringing it in from the wrong spot. Quick stretch. Somebody asked about Dino earlier there. No, the major work that I did on Dino was for what was that app called? The one with the maps? Fresh Spots. Yeah, we worked on an app for doing saving lists of places to visit with Dino. But that project I got tired of working on because so many things we just had to do from scratch. It was early days of the Dino ecosystem, and even before like they introduced npm support and stuff like that. So okay, why is this complaining? Can't find module or its dependencies. Am I missing anything? Yeah, Kaizen. When the break timer pops up, especially if I'm on a roll, it's if I'm working not on stream, I try to be really good about like actually taking the breaks. But I get so distracted on stream that um, when it pops up, I'm like, I just gotta get this working. Is it Dino or Dino? um, I called it Dino because I saw a talk that Ryan Dahl gave, and he called it Dino. But it's like Dino the dinosaur. If you remember the Flintstones cartoon, there is a dinosaur called Dino, Dino, and he looks kind of like the Dino logo. So that's what they're going for, and that's why their logo is Dino now. So it's Dino. Dino is technically wrong, and I think Ryan Dahl even mentioned he said it wrong initially, but now he says Dino. It's Eno. D is silent. All right. Can we fix this? Let's actually look and see if this is an issue on the skeleton GitHub. Maybe there's a fix for it. Um, let me start up the app, see if there's anything weird here. So the app still starts. Well, the issue is we saw the type error in the command line, which is separate from VS Code. All right, so the app still loads. And if we do a type check, yeah, we might have to just TS ignore this for now because it still seems to work. Like if we look at all the UI components, like all the buttons and everything are working. Let's TS ignore this. But also add a to-do to fix it. Check the light switch. Okay, shield your eyes. We're going to light mode. Yeah, this works. Okay. That seems to be the only issue. Yeah, and then now if we run the tests, hopefully those pass too. No test found? What? Also, there's like a linting error of this thing being imported but never used. It is. So, source lib server YouTube API. We import YouTube. Oh. It should be this. Or not. Why don't I see a linter error here? Is it because we're importing the type? This type error is wrong. And also, why are our tests not running? I'm pretty sure we have this. We have this test. No, that's the unit test. We want our end-to-end test here. Go to the homepage. Expect a link to be on the homepage. This is the basic test that we have right now because we haven't added many other tests. Thank you, W. Fater. Appreciate that. But the thing is, we're not just using the type. I guess technically we could do this. Or can we? Also, I thought you could do this. What does this complain about now? Has no call signature. Oh well. TypeScript isn't complaining in this file. Why is Playwright not finding our test? Tester is tests. Tests is here. Why is Playwright not running that? Error, no tests found. Yeah, I initially thought this was the constructor, but yeah, it's just a namespace of types. I don't know how to import a type from the namespace. I mean, technically, can you do... Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it because TypeScript actually doesn't care. But in our test directory, does it not? So it's just called test.ts. What if I call it app.test.ts? Yeah, so I'm already accessing the type. I am. So like here. So YouTube v3 / schema channel and then schema channel or .schema channel. But for whatever reason, there's a TypeScript error in the test that says it's unused, even though it's not. There we go. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Okay. That's super weird. I don't know if that was a breaking change, but basically it didn't pick up the test anymore because it didn't have the name. It didn't have a prefix on it. Like it didn't find files that were just test. But one thing we do need to do is we need to do test setup. I forget what that command is though. Yeah, npx playwright install. So this sets up the browsers that Playwright uses, and we need to run that command locally before running tests. But you run it once, and then you don't have to do it again. I guess unless the browsers change. We can try this, Tomas. But it's weird to me that the tests complain about it, but like TypeScript doesn't complain about it in here. Import type. Or can't I just put the word type on there? Yeah, I can just put the word type on there. Nice. That was it. Yeah, so I think you're right to colors. Test pass. I mean, again, it's just a smoke check. It's just to make sure that the app can actually spin up, but at least it passes with no errors. And then the type check runs as well. Great. Now, there was a comment from someone that was like, yeah, add the type comment at the top. So in our Tailwind config, it can't find this type. Because if you look at the TypeScript error, it says cannot find corresponding type declarations. Let's look in the node modules really quick. So this is Skeleton Labs. I mean, the docs have a type. Okay, thanks for calling that out, Cute Pony. I didn't see it. So they do this, which adds the type to the Tailwind config. Do I not have that? I guess I don't. And then if I do that, is it able to find the type? Why do I not have that? It still complains though. That's a good call out. When I set up my ERD generator, did I get issues around not finding the Prisma CLI command? No, not that I can remember. I mean, you need to have Prisma installed as a dependency for it to work. Yeah. So yeah, this just gives us type completions in here. Well, why would I use JSDoc in TypeScript? So this isn't TypeScript. This is a common JS config file. I think technically you can have a tailwind config.ts. All right, we'll try a reload. Yeah, it still fails. Okay, let's go back here. So I want to see what it's bringing in again. Skeleton Labs, skeleton, tailwind. Skeleton.cjs. This is what it's bringing in. It's just a function. I mean, I guess I could declare its type. I don't know why I would have to do that though. But so the reason TypeScript is complaining is because it can't find the type declarations for this. But the thing is, there are no type declarations. I don't know why that wasn't an issue before. All right, we'll keep ignoring it, but I think we do need to we would basically just add a type declaration somewhere that says whenever you come across this, it is a function that accepts a config. Okay. I think we're good then. One more time. Type check. Test. And then let's just start up the app and click around a little bit. I mean, honestly, we should write tests for that, but we're not going to. Not right now, anyways. So the app still works. We can log out. We can log in. We can visit the safety third universe. That seems to work. Let's try creating a new list. Syntax boys. We'll add Westboss and Scott Tolinsky. Isn't it like level up? Syntax. And I didn't know they had a YouTube. Wait, did he change his YouTube channel? Yeah, he changed his name. He changed his name to Syntax. That's fascinating. That's cool. But yeah, he used to be Level Up Tutorials. I mean, I guess he still is. Okay, but this is, we're gonna create a list with these two. And it's gonna go grab all their videos. So I didn't show this earlier, but this first process takes a little bit because it gets every single video and then puts it into Redis. And then after that, it's really quick. But our idea is we'll have like a little mini game or some kind of thing to keep the user busy while it's happening. And eventually, instead of just doing this in the background, like as a part of the request to this page, we actually want to fire off a job that some job handler could do that actually does the caching. So that way there aren't multiple requests to cache the same thing. Yeah, and then the other thing is we could, if once we implement the job thing, we can implement like a certain amount of progress. Yeah, and we want to be able to click these to go to the YouTube channel. Make them lose their followers when you change their name. No, it's not at all. Especially for this is not dishonest at all because Scott Tolinsky literally is Syntax with Westboss. So yeah, but yeah, it grabs every single video. I think that's the fun thing is we can go all the way back in time. We can see this Westboss video from 12 years ago. Fascinating. And then Westboss has been on YouTube for a very long time. Oh yeah, these are 17 years ago. Boys Night Out trailer. Is this a movie? Yeah, 17 years ago. Fascinating. Okay. It works. Everything works. So let's commit this and then push it up. And let me update the devlog. So we updated the minor and patch bump. What we're gonna do next is the major bump. But for now, we've done that. Actually, we should do it on a separate branch just so it's easier to show the work that I did today. Update dependencies. Yeah, Crip, like, and that's the thing is like the once we do that, now that we have all of the videos in memory, or in our cache, it makes it super easy to sort by all kinds of different metrics. Because if we were trying to sort by like popularity across multiple channels, it would require multiple YouTube API requests. Whereas now that we have all of the videos, we can very easily do sorting and filtering. I think this might be all we do today, Fob, because this is going to take a while. I mean, there might be some breaking changes too. Yeah, it's doing it in parallel. Yep, yep. And that's the other thing that we need to optimize, because we might run into some quota and rate limiting from YouTube if we keep doing it this way. It won't. So we cache everything for 24 hours right now. So if West Boss uploaded a video right now, it would not show up on that page for 24 hours. But eventually, I am going to add a button that says like refresh, or we can basically add it in like if you if you know that they have a newer video, we can refresh that metadata. I don't know, Silver. I haven't been paying attention to that. I don't know if it will really affect us, but it's possible because I think we updated the Prisma dependency, so it's possible that was the change. No, YouTube will, if you use the YouTube API a lot, they'll reach out to you once a year to do an audit. So because I have there's this site which uses the YouTube API. I've had this for a while now. It combines Coding Garden archive and the Coding Garden channel to show all of the YouTube videos, and then it pulls them all down, and then you can very easily like filter all the videos about React or Vue. But this uses quite a bit of the API quota because anytime someone comes to the site, I'm not actually caching anything. I'm requesting. I probably should just cache it, or I could even like statically generate this because the video uploads don't happen that often on my channel. But this uses my quota quite a bit. So YouTube actually reaches out once a year to say, what are you doing with our API, and are you still in compliance? Yeah. Yeah, we could, and we could do that, Doge. Just like we could actually stream the data as it comes in. So instead of just waiting for everything to come back, we could after we get the first page of results, we could show it already if we have it. Yeah, exactly. So that would actually be a fun little project. Is like this site should be statically generated SSG, and then anytime a new upload happens, it regenerates itself, because that way I'm not hitting the YouTube API all the time for it. But the thing is, to get all of that data is multiple requests, because are we good though? Yeah, we're good. Let me update this and merge it in. It's multiple requests because we need to first get the first page of videos for a given channel ID. So that's request number 1. And so that gets one page of 50 videos. And then for each one of those videos, we need to call a separate endpoint to get all of the metadata, like number of views, number of likes, description, translations, other thumbnail URLs. That's a separate request for every single video. So technically, like when you see that list doing the caching, like we had to make a request to YouTube for the first time for every single video. So every single video was a separate request to YouTube to get all the metadata, like the number of views, description, title. And then every 50 videos was also another request. So depending on how many videos are here, there's probably like 600 or 700. That's divide that by 50. So that's 12 requests, and then plus 600 requests. So just for this one page alone, there's like over 600 requests that had to go to the YouTube API. How would you go about hiding an API key on a React Native app that doesn't have authentication? Honestly, you really can't, because if someone were to decompile the app, or is that the right word? If somebody could literally take the binary and then search it for strings and actually find the API keys in there. It's very similar to like putting an API key in client code, but it's harder to get at. So how do you hide it? You don't. I mean, you don't. You set up a backend proxy API, and the API key is hidden there, not inside of the app. Because I mean, I've done that before. You can literally, if you decompile an app, and in certain apps that have been built with like hybrid mobile frameworks, like all the source code is even in there, and you see all of the keys and everything else. Um, even though it's a binary, even though it's like distributed in the app store, you should still consider it client code. Yeah, that's the other thing is you can intercept the network request. It's harder because a lot of times it's HTTPS traffic, and so then you need to make the device so that it. What is happening? Why did why did why did the bot do that so much? Um, I think the timers are broken on uh, on Streamlabs. I don't know. If it's in client code, regardless if it's binary or not, it's potential for people to get at it. Every single message. Let me go look at the Streamlabs settings. The bot is having issues. Um, but yeah, are notifications part of the YouTube API? I think they have something, but it's yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you can actually get a notification when a new video gets uploaded. Yeah. I think I got so I'm seeing your message origin about like trying to optimize it. I think I got a quota increase a while back. So I actually don't know what my rate limit is. But yeah, YouTube they're a big API. They can all right, I just turned the timers off because that was super weird. They can handle that many requests, but yeah, if you don't wait between requests, you potentially will get rate limited. I don't do code reviews lately. I've been thinking of potentially like charging by the hour or something like that, but I don't do that. Um, can't tell what's a request from my app or a random request. Yeah, it gets tricky when you're if you're trying to intercept the network traffic. But yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, and like I said, I don't do reviews right now. Just don't have the time. I mean, like this, there's like a whole set of features we could monetize in this app. Like people would probably pay for that, right? To get notified when new videos get uploaded, that kind of thing. The other thing is we can be smart about like the next time you come to this page, we can say, hey, these are the newer videos that have been uploaded since the last time you were here. Yeah, for sure, Light. If you join our Discord, uh, it'll be easier to reach out to you if it happens. I haven't considered it AZ, but like I think this whole project listed has been like a what do you call it? There's just been so much GitHub interaction. So you could, I mean, honestly, it would be pretty fun to go and just grab highlights of all the times we were using GitHub, because yeah, it's a pretty good example of like collaboration on GitHub and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're good. We're good. So we pushed up. Let's merge that in. We'll make a PR and merge it in, and then keep moving. Um, Yeah, appreciate that, Light. And basically that's what you'll need to do. Yeah, I think if you found that video on my YouTube channel, so like even if you have a oh, is it broken all of a sudden? Even if you have an iOS app or an Android app, like technically it should be reaching out to your own API that hides the API keys. So yeah, this video I did a while back that shows how do you spin up like an Express app that hides an API key you can call from a client. It applies to any client. You technically could call the same proxy API from like an iOS app or a Android app. All right, here's our PR. We're living dangerously. We're just gonna. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that, man. Reopen. squash and merge into main, delete the branch, good to go. Okay, so now the main branch has all those changes that I just made. If I pull that in, good to go. And now we can try to update one dependency at a time. Yeah, and so if you're deploying the API, you could use something like Vercel. So Vercel lets you do serverless functions, and they have a really generous free tier. You might even get away with doing it for free, depending on how many requests happen. Next on the to-do list is to update the major versions because we only updated the minor versions. So here we go. Well, that's not horrible. I thought we had more than that. And Light, thank you for the sub. You didn't have to do that. Appreciate you. Spit my water out. Thank you. Thank you for the gifted. You're very kind. Okay. That's awesome. Congrats to everybody that got gifted. hearts in chat for Light. All right, let's update auth core. I actually have no idea what they changed. So we're just gonna update that. And then yeah, I appreciate it, Light. And then we'll see if anything broke. Honestly, so our integration with auth.js has there's been a lot of stuff that we had to do manually, or like we had to manually fix the types of a lot of things. So ideally, some of that goes away. So if you look at like this, so hooks.server, we're integrating with auth SvelteKit. Yeah, this is basically auth.js and auth core. Like right now, we have these ESLint and TS ignores. Maybe we can remove those after upgrading, but let's see. So we're going to install that. I guess technically, was the other one related? Yeah, we should upgrade both of those. So we're going to upgrade auth SvelteKit as well. Okay. Now, our types have broken. So we're going to need to fix that. But one of the things that we did was we overrode the user type in here. So that we can add more, we could add more properties to the user type with auth core, but apparently that might have broken. Yeah, so same thing with the auth core. So auth core went from 0.5.1 to 0. Well, technically it was a 7, but because this starts with a 0, this is still a potential breaking change. Okay. We'll run the SvelteKit sync. Yeah, so because it starts with a 0, then any number that changes is a potential breaking change. I think the type check is going to fail because of that file that I just showed you. Yeah. So maybe the way that you override these types has changed. Let's actually see. So let me close everything else. And if we look over here, this type that we're trying to override comes from session. And if we look at the session type, now this is auth core types. Is it in a namespace? It's not. And BGNYC, thank you for the prime. So no, it moved again. They fixed this and then they broke it. Man, man. Okay, here's what we need to do though. We need this full path. Give me this path, please. How do I get the path? Copy path. And then when we override the type, instead of doing auth core types, it's so like they broke it. So what we need to do is we need to say this. I think. Let's see. Let's see if this was it. No. Is it just types like this? Nope, it's still broken. Auth, SvelteKit, node. I mean, do we need, maybe we need the node modules at the beginning? And this is why you don't TypeScript. I don't know. I mean, yeah, so like technically our code wouldn't actually be broken, but we want the types to be fixed here because we're adding new properties to them. And then we're using these in our code base. Like we're saying session.user.id, session.user.settings. We want good type completion there, which is why we're overriding the type over here. Let's try again. I might look at the history of this file to see what it was before. No, it's still broken. All right, let's go to GitHub and see what we did because we had to do this a while back and then we reverted it when they fixed it, but apparently they broke it again. So let's see. The way that we had it before was just this. So it's the same thing, but without the src directory. And that fixes it. Great. Great. What's up, 0x4A6972-6B61? Glad to see you. So yeah, well, it just didn't have the src on there. That's the way that we fixed it. To do, fix this, revert this when they fix this. All right, let's try a type check again. Well, property ID does not exist on type. Are you sure about that? Locals.session.user. Let's sync the SvelteKit types again. Okay, let's fix it then. Where's this happening? So source routes protected onboarding. Event implicitly has the any type. That's, am I in the right one? So protected, no, create. TS expect error. I think that makes sense. And in this case, we're not ignoring it anymore. We just basically overwrite the type that we're overwriting a different type. Create page.server. Line 41. You know what? Let's just start up the dev server. See if that fixes anything. Because so with SvelteKit, it actually does generate types in the background as your code is running. Typically, this command generates those types without running the app, but maybe we needed to do this. Yeah, and the thing is, like, this is where we want the just the built-in types in SvelteKit to work, and they don't seem like they're. Maybe I need to just reload. Maybe we need to reload now that we did that. Because like you said, you saw that it said this was the any type. This is yeah. So the types are flowing through now, and then it was saying line 41. Event locals session. And then yeah, so we need to override this type here too. This wouldn't happen with Java. I mean, I think like the build would break with Java. I guess technically the build has broken, but all right, this should fix that. Yeah, what did I do a TS ignore on earlier? Oh yeah, in the Tailwind config. All right, that fixed it. And Limos, thank you for the resub. Or yeah, 32 months. That's a long time. Cool. It's working, everyone. we're fixing issues. All right, I'm gonna try that other major upgrade, which I don't think should break anything. It's the upgrade of the YouTube API. So yeah, Google. So we're using the actual YouTube Google YouTube SDK to call their API. This could have some breakage, but let's see. Well, we need to install the dependency as well. Cool. Seems fine. Watching from the beach. Nice, Limotes. get your phone out, sitting in the sand. And thanks for the hydrate. Over here, and so one of the things that we did, we actually did this in a refactor probably like 2 streams ago, is we took. There were actually multiple places that were calling the Google YouTube API to SDK directly, and the issue with that is we had to do all this weird stuff of making sure the types were right, and then also like having to deal with possibly like undefined data and stuff like that. So what we did is we consolidated all of the API requests to this one file. So if there are no type errors in this file, then we should still be good, because this one file is the only place that calls the YouTube API, and we reformat it into our own types that are more consistent and also like fill in default data. So instead of using the type that comes back from their SDK, we created our own like video API response that has all these properties. And then when we grab a video like this, you can see we're setting a bunch of defaults. Like if it doesn't have a title, or we change the count into a number. You can also see that this actually needs to be translated. Yeah, so we have a to-do here to say that we need to do internationalization. Like we need to set a default that can be translated on the front end if it is a default value. So that's a thing. But I think we're good. I think we're good. The test run, the type check runs. This was a successful dependency upgrade. Before I before I say that it actually is working, we should test the auth flow. We should make sure that we actually can log in and log out. because that's the dependency that we upgraded. Seems fine. I was just laughing because there was a 500 error and then the page popped up. Oh well. Here we go. Yeah, technically I could have ran no verify because our pre-commit hooks also run the tests and run the type check, but it's fine. I want to make sure before I push this stuff up. Push it up, and the test didn't fail. they passed, and then we'll merge this in as well. No, we're not deploying. We're did I say deploy? What I meant was push it up to GitHub. What's up, I am Roos? Welcome in. Cool. Honestly, let's see if the tests pass here, because there were some PRs where the tests weren't passing at all. Because there could be a deeper issue. This is a good time to grab a drink while our CI server runs. Yeah, so it ran the type check. It's running the linter. It's also going to run the end-to-end tests. Yeah. CSS and HTML died? I mean, I don't know about that. The web is still the web, and it needs CSS and HTML. So, thanks for the stretch, Bob. Actually, I'm gonna run to the restroom while these tests are running, and then when I come back, we're gonna work on actual features. Because at this point, we haven't actually done any work. It's so funny because like we feel productive because we've been working on stuff. But really, all we've done are update dependencies. I think technically, I need to do a review of the PRs and issues, and then we'll fix some styles. Hopefully, we only have about 45 minutes left. But all right, I'll be right back. I forgot I have this scene now. I can actually zoom in on the code like this. Boom. Fascinating. All right, the test actually failed. I'm back. I'm back. All right, test failed. I think someone has an issue open right now of the test failing. That's, that's a lot of money, Bogdanovich. That's more than just one drink. Thank you. You are too kind. That's crazy. Thank you for the tip. Uh, thank you. All right, test failed, but I guess that's okay. Honestly, we should probably fix that before we work on other things, but you know, and Keaton Suki, thank you very much for the prime. And Afro with the bits. Where's all this support coming from? Thank you all. You're all way too kind. All right, let's look at the issues that got opened up, and then we'll work on some styling issues. We'll pull down main because that has the changes we just made. And we should be good to go. So I don't think I saw these issues. So use a modal to show the video instead of embedding all the videos. Yeah, I think now we have like the player view. Yeah, so we kind of have theater mode. I'll mention this. A bribe to do a Laravel stream? I'm not opposed to it. We could, I mean, it might be fun to do a series of like CJ Learns. My name is CJ if you're new here. Because I've never done Laravel before. But yeah. Well, yeah, I did a whole. Let's see if we can find that stream. I think it would be on the Coding Garden archive. I straight up spent like an hour getting a Docker container to work with a PHP thing I was trying to do. Let's see. Yeah, this is the stream. People were way into it too. Like I was, cause I literally like I created a Docker container from scratch. I needed to be able to like run PHP. So we got all of that go. Oh yeah, and I think the main issue that we ran into was getting MongoDB working with PHP. Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah. Odd question. Sleeping disorder that prevents me from working a normal job. What's a tech-related job you think someone like me can do for a living? Is it like that you just fall asleep at any time? I think in general, any sort of like remote work would be good. And I think like most things are remote these days. Reversible periods of excessive sleep. 20 hours of that's insane. That sounds really debilitating. I'm sorry to hear that, Light. Can sleep for weeks or months. Well, I think in general, like the fact that a lot of stuff has moved to remote work, I think is kind of in your favor because the thing is like as long as you can get your work done when you are awake, a lot of jobs don't really care when you do it. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing that I can think of. I think it's the other thing is like you potentially work contract work. So like you find someone that knows you have this issue and they pay you for the hours that you work, but they know that sometimes you're not going to be available. Yeah, so they basically know, okay, well sometimes they're not available, but when they are, you bill them for the time that you work. That's really all I can think of. Yeah. Yeah, contract work is basically what do because then you're charging by the hour and then they can't fire you. They'll just be like, well, honestly, we won't renew your contract or something like that. But if it comes to that, I've never heard of that's fascinating. Like, like go to bed for 2 weeks. That's insane. You're a Disney princess. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So Omar opened up a few feature requests, which I agree with. Basically like keeping track of users watched videos. I like that. We're going to do that eventually, but I'll just leave the issue open. Video controls. We're also going to do that eventually, but not right now. We're going to focus on a few other things. All right. This is the issue about testing. Node.js 12 actions are deprecated. Let's look at our GitHub actions. V2, V3. Node version 18. Maybe this is all we need to fix the tests. But honestly, the playwright test actually timed out. I don't know if this is gonna fix that. Let's do this. Only on node 20, yeah. Cloudflare pages still uses node 12. That's insane. All right. So if I make a PR, this actually should run the updated workflow in the pull request. Like this. Yeah, this. Here we go. It's gonna run the checks. And so as far as I know, smoke tests are just making sure that the thing works at like a surface level. So like can you go to the page and does the page actually load? Yeah, the playwright install happens before the tests. Yeah. I'm not using the bundled one. I like running this command downloads the versions that it needs. I think Wikipedia probably has an entry on smoke tests. Smoke testing are also confidence testing, sanity testing, build verification tests, preliminary testing to reveal simple failures severe enough to, for example, reject a prospective software release. Smoke tests are a subset of test cases that cover the most important functionality of a component or system. Yeah, so in my experience, we called it a smoke test if we did like a recent deploy to like staging or something, and then the smoke test would be to just go to the site and make sure that it actually loads. Now, I don't know if that's the exact definition of it, but it's like it's not something that's necessarily. I guess it could technically be automated because you could do like I guess like a health check or something like that. But yeah, in my experience, it's just like a surface level test to make sure that the things still work as intended, but it's not testing every single feature. And then end-to-end tests are testing the full flow of things. So like, does the site load and does it connect to the API and everything else? I think like an initial smoke test would be synonymous with an end-to-end test, right? Right? Run your actions locally. Oh, I've never done that. That would have been good to test because this is going to time out again. I don't know why the playwright is timing out. Remix or next? I don't know. Like the next app directory stuff seems cool, but in my experience with Next, it just doesn't provide enough. You always got to add more stuff to it. So probably Remix, but I don't know. All right. GitHub Actions, Playwright, timeout. Remix or SvelteKit? SvelteKit. No answer. Well, it technically This playwright install technically installs Chromium, FFmpeg, Firefox, WebKit. So it installs all of the browsers. And then after installing them, the tests should use the installed browsers. Nobody's responding to these issues about Playwright timing out. This is an issue from 2022. You guys still defragment. Most people are using Eucalyptus. Thank you for the prime. I just try to pronounce your name. Thank you for the prime. Most people are using SSDs or solid state drives, and those should not be defragmented. All right, I'm not going to work on this because we should work on some actual features because we haven't written any actual code today. So we're going to go back to the main branch, and we'll worry about that later. I guess technically I'll still just merge this in, but it technically failed, but if I merge this in, then that means that I can close that other issue. No, we won't do pagination. I want to update the styles of the create form. We're going to start at the top because there's parts of the workflow that aren't ideal. So here we go. Let me show you what happens. So let's say you want to create a new list. For now, just testing. Do like cooking channels. Once we start to add several new channels here, so like binging with Babish Culinary Universe, Munchies, Maddie Matheson. I don't know when it starts happening, but once there's several here, they start to smush together, and we need to fix that. Let's just keep adding then. Bon appetit. Failed CI driven development, yeah. The mythical kitchen. Yeah, like that. So I think it's because we have a max height on the container, and then it doesn't start to scroll. So let's fix that. We'll go ahead and check out it's okay. We reviewed PRs and issues, great. Now we're gonna work on these channel card styles because they're getting smooshed. And so that is happening in the create route. Let's look at this page. So this has it's this one here. So it's a grid, 2-column grid, overflow Y auto. And then it has all the channels inside of it. So for whatever reason, they got smooshed instead of overflowing to become a scroll. Yeah, Bogdanovich, honestly, eventually that's what I kind of want this to become. It becomes like the ultimate content aggregator, right? So we even sort of planned for that in our database schema, because right now we have this idea of like YouTube meta, and we also have list item type as YouTube channel, but eventually we could add a list item type as Twitter account. And then you could create lists of Twitter accounts that you want to go to. I mean, technically, Twitter has lists. That is a feature on there. But I don't know how it does like the sorting of tweets or whatever else. Yeah, I think that's the other thing to consider is the Twitter API actually costs money now. So that is a thing. All right, why is this happening? Because so we have a max height set on this div. Max height is 24 rem. If I get rid of that, it I guess overflow Y, if I say scroll, it still smooshes them. Anybody know how to fix this with CSS? So basically, I want the parent to have a maximum height, but then after we reach that height, it should start to scroll. I guess, is it because it's a grid? If I set the cards to 100% height, I mean, I guess I can just do that as a test right here. So the parent has scroll. This is the one that has the overflow Y. And then we have each of the cards in there. So if I remove the max height, then each of the cards is the correct height. But if I do max height, it's now smushing it. Honestly, I think it's because of CSS grid. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's probably the way to go then. So we wrap the grid in a container that has the max height and then scroll from there. Because otherwise the grid doesn't know, because we don't have a specific height on the cards. So yeah, I think you're totally right. So what we need is we have a parent container div that we move the max height and the overflow to. And then now the grid just lives inside of that. That's the fix. It's got to be, right? It didn't work. Oh no, actually the whole page refreshed, so we have to do it again. Yeah, Flexbox could have been the other way to go, but then we didn't get to. Then we wouldn't be able to do like the 2-column grid. I think this has to be the fix, right? All right. Honestly, we don't even have to search. We can just start adding things. Nice. That's the way to go. And then the other thing we can do is whenever you add a channel, we could scroll this container to the bottom. Let's do that. But that was the fix. Thank you for that, Kaizen Codes. You had it. So the parent container now has the grid, which has the max height, which then overflows on scroll. So now whenever we add a new channel to this, I want to scroll this to the bottom. And I kind of want to put this in a parent component now that can handle that functionality. Because the list of channels here, the list of channels gets managed in like multiple spots. So like the channel search is modifying channels, which is then being iterated over here. We should just put this in a component called like channel list, I think. Do we not already have that? We have channel search. Yeah, we should have a channel list. Conditionally render the last item and add the focus attribute to it. Will that automatically scroll like with CSS? That's fascinating. Okay. Can I also grab the index? How does this work in SvelteKit? Yeah, okay, so this gives me the index. And if index.length, so we want to bind the class. I forget all the Svelte syntax. I just want to say if the index is the last index, add the focus class to the channel card. That's what I want to do. Let's look up class bindings in Svelte. I always forget the syntax. It's been too long. Yeah, I've been working in React for 2 weeks. Select bindings. I guess I want the style section. Focus is an attribute? Can that exist on any element? Okay, so class colon the class I want to apply, and then that. All right, but let's just add a focus class to the channel card and see if um, focus? Focus? Is focus not a valid yeah, focus isn't a valid div attribute. Should we focus the button? Would that allow it? Would that like scroll it into view? What do you mean? What elements have a focus attribute? Element that has received focus. How do we give it focus? Focus is a method on the element. Oh, is there auto? Oh, there is autofocus. Cool, cool. No, that's fine. No worries. Because I'll just specify that. Avoid using autofocus. So this isn't accessible, apparently. Let's see if it works, though. Let's see if it works. And if it works, I don't know. Let's see. Doesn't work. And like technically this one, autofocus is false though. It showed up for divs. This should be 0 indexed. Oh, length -1. You're right. Yeah, if this doesn't work, element.scroll into view is definitely the way to go. But I mean, we can see it now. So this one should, yeah, autofocus is true now. All right, let's see. Doesn't seem to work. That's okay though, because we're already passing this prop down. And so now we can basically just say, if it's true, scroll this div into view. And we'll watch it. So let's watch the, we'll say if focus, and we want to get a ref to this div. And we'll say element dot scroll into view. Boom. Now, what is element? It's a ref to this. So we need to do a, again, I don't remember any of the syntax, but we can do a this binding to get an element ref. Bind colon this. I just want to be able to find it in the docs. It's like, this is honestly the hardest part of coming back to Svelte after working elsewhere, is like, I just don't remember any of the syntax. Here we go. Yeah, so we can say let element, which is an HTML div element, starts off as null, and then we bind this to element. and we can say it's an element or it's null. Read only? Did I do that wrong? Oh, did I make it a const? No, it's a let. What do you mean it's read only? Oh, geez, some auto import happened. Okay, we made it. We made it. But we can also check to see if we're focused and element is a thing, then scroll it into view. Moment of truth. Yep. 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 Yeah. So now, and honestly, I could scroll to the top, but the moment I add another one, or even remove, then that one got focused. Nice. We've done it. Okay. Oh, thank you, Runic. I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right. It's not smooth. We could do that, but we could add it in the CSS. But I like it. Yeah. So if you do behavior smooth, check this out. Real smooth. Well, that's not very smooth. But if I scroll up and then I do it, look at that. Nice. All right, I'm happy with this. It could still use some improvements though, right? You see how it's just like all of it doesn't fit on the page at one time. Honestly, like on desktop, this could probably be like a 2-column layout, right? Like you have your search on the left, your added channels on the right. Because right now it's a little bit cumbersome to like go down here, add a thing, and then you can see it listed up here. Oh, that's an issue. Because if we remove something from the top, it focuses the bottom. We don't want that. What do you mean use something like Ionic? Ionic is typically for like hybrid mobile apps. This is purely a web app. It would be nice to have this as a mobile app. How can we differentiate when the thing is oh, instead of skeleton? No, skeleton's cool. It's made for SvelteKit or Svelte. How can we detect? Yeah, the smooth works in like across all browsers. Um, scroll behave. Scroll behavior. Yeah, it's everywhere except for IE. Oh, cool. Cool. It looks very material designy. I don't know if it's meant to be. But wait for length change and emit only when the length increases. I think that's a good solution. So instead of um oof. Well, no, because the length changes when you remove and when you add. We only want to I see if the length increases instead of decreases. Hook scroll onto the add and then ignore it when we're removing. That's the issue, is add is happening somewhere else entirely. Like add happens in this component and we're just listening for changes to the list. So yeah, instead of but yeah, let's show how add works. Honestly though, Thank you, Mr. Italy. So the channel ID list gets updated anytime it changes. And so anytime it changes, we wouldn't know the length though. Add new elements at the beginning of the list. Then we don't have to scroll at all. I like that. I like that. I like that idea better. We don't. Let's stop doing this focus thing. So this app is for creating lists of YouTube channels. I'll show you YouTube channels. I'll show you how it works in a second after we get this going. So we're gonna remove all this functionality we just added. What we need is when we add it to the list, we add it at the beginning. So inside of channel search is where we add it to the list, I believe. Channel card actions. This removes it, this adds it. So instead of pushing it, we can unshift it. Solved. Solved. Easy. Easy. So we do this. Yeah, so now they're just getting added to the beginning. And if I go down here to remove, yeah. I guess the other thing is when we add, we technically want to scroll. Scroll it into view. So never mind. We're actually going to go add that behavior back, but we focus it if the index is 0. So on the channel card, wait, did I get rid of it? Is it the channel card? What did Kaisen say? Or someone said, how did I, oh, okay, I was doing Command Shift C. All right, we're gonna add this back. So now we'll scroll it, but on the other side, we only scroll it if the index is 0. Is that right? Is it going to scroll it every time we add it? Let's just see how this behaves. So if this is the 0th index, it's going to scroll it up. That's so okay. So adding seems fine. Adding is still at the top, or is it? But yeah, I think you're totally right. If you, I think we broke it. If focus is true, scroll it into view. If the index is 0, focus it. It's just broken. Yeah, I'll tell you in a second. I'm on a nested little feature here, and then I'll tell you what we're working on. The focus never changed to true, but the thing is that the one at the beginning is now a different one because we're putting it at the beginning. Because I don't want it at the end. I want it at the beginning. I want to scroll to the one at the top. So now if I do this, I scroll down. We tried autofocus earlier. I might not even just worry about this right now, but is this the scenario where autofocus is going to work? Also, I'm gonna do a little bit of debugging right here to see if this is actually getting called. Yeah. And we can just grab the channel dot name like this. Scroll to the top when the list changes. Yeah, it's much trickier than it seems because of the related the nature, the relationship of everything. Because the data is getting modified over here, being added over here, and then this is the thing that we want to scroll. Let's see though. Is that even running? Scrolling into view, mythical kitchen. Scrolling into view, a hot dog is a sandwich. Twice, apparently. Good mythical morning. Ear biscuits. Trevor talks too much. All right, so if I scroll down and then I add mythical kitchen TikTok. Oh, it's working. I just needed to refresh the page. Because look, if I remove, now it scrolls to the top. Which I guess is fine. but now if I add, it scrolls it to the top. I just needed to refresh the page. But if we remove, then it scrolls it up. Like if we, what we could do is also have another variable that just says focused and like don't do it again. Like we only scroll to the top once. So like scroll it, set it to true, and then only do this if we are not focused. Check if the user is removing versus adding. I just don't know of an easy way to do that.
Cheer 507, thanks for the awesome stream. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Eddie. It's a lot of bits. I appreciate that. You all are very kind today. A lot of support. If you're trying to bulk remove a bunch of channels from the bottom, I can see it being annoying. This should fix that. So basically, we only scroll it to the top once, and then when we add a new item, it's going to be new, so it will scroll it. Check it. This is the behavior we want. It's going to work. First try. Add a channel. Scroll mythical kitchen. Hot dog is a sandwich. Great. Okay, it scrolls it to the top. Okay, if I go down here and I remove, it didn't scroll because it had already been scrolled. But now if I add a new one, it does scroll it to the top. No, it doesn't. Come on. Local state in the parent. When removing, set it to removing. When add, set it to adding. Yeah, and then we could like pass it down. And if adding was true, you do the scroll. Thank you, Definite Optimist. I appreciate that. I may want to check your link. What do you have, America 2050? What link? I don't see a link. Oh, this one. Ionic? I clicked that earlier. What are you talking about? Send the link again. Okay, so I'm adding a new one, but it's not scrolling it into view anymore. What is happening here? All right, I might have to try that, Jimmy. If I can't get this working, then yeah, we'll have to keep track of are we adding versus are we removing. Yeah, it's not scrolling the new ones into view anymore. So this little variable here is local to every single card. Every card that gets added gets its own little is it focused or has focused. So we probably should call it. And then if we has not focused, we do the focus. super weird. Like it was working a second ago. So scroll Mythical Kitchen into view. Thank you, Nikki. Man, so many supports today. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Congrats everybody that got gifted. And thank you, Eddie, for the bits as well. So many supports. It's crazy. It's crazy. Is there like an on update Svelte lifecycle method? There's on mount, but what else do we get? On destroy? Before, that's exactly what I was just looking for. Great. Before update or after update. So after update, I want to grab basically just this. And then we'll log has focused like this. Remove the height of the area, like make the height smaller. Reduce the height of the I kind of, maybe I agree with that. Missing what? Svelte types runtime and man, that got imported from the wrong spot. I don't know why it chose to import it from there. Okay. Here we go. They all got updated and they're all false. Well, I guess that makes sense because the list down here technically has that state as well. But it's not even getting past the focus prop. All right. Everything's false again. And then we scroll Mythical Kitchen into view. All right. Now we should see a hot dog as a sandwich. But we don't see hot dog as a sandwich scrolling into view. Oh, we're actually. Why are you being? You're being real. What's the word? I don't think you're trying to offend me, America 2050, but basically you're like, why don't you just learn how Svelte works? I get. I should know more about internal lifecycle methods and stuff like that. No, I know you're not trying to be mean, but it kind of comes off that way. But yeah, what's up, C Sharp Fritz? Welcome in. you're being a little extra. But yeah, shouts out to our good friend C Sharp Fritz. No, it's true. I should spend a day doing this tutorial because I've never done it before. Basically, like I learned the basics of Svelte, but I don't know a lot about the internals and stuff like that. So it's very possible that there are things that I don't know about that I should know about. That's not possible. It's a fact. There are things I should know about that I don't know about. So hot dog is a sandwich. It's true. Has focused is true. But it never logged scrolling into view. And if compact, yeah. Because the one on top is, these are the compact ones. To get rid of all those extras, you're totally right. All right. Again. I don't know why. Sure, SvelteKit. Joy of Code. Definitely go check out Joy of Code. All right. Scrolling into view, Joy of Code. So here's the thing. We never saw the log for scrolling into view. And Damon, thank you for the prime. Appreciate you. We never saw the log for scrolling into view web dev kit, but we did see has focused is true. How is that possible? I'm checking for not has focused. Right, yeah, but on the first pass, this should have logged. Right? Because I only want this to run if we have not focused. Right? But okay, TJ Mr. P, you're probably right. If we just do it on mount, that's fine because the only time it's going to be on mount is when it gets added. That's got to be the way to go. Then we don't even have to worry about focus. When it gets added to the list, scroll it. Easy. That's all we got to do. That's it. On mount. Done. Then we don't need, we don't need the scroll prop anymore. We don't pass this down. When you add it, which is on mount, scroll it into view. List of added items. You're right. Because then it would like scroll to the bottom of the list. We should have a prop. like should focus. And that should be true. Now, yeah, not just compact. I think we'll have an entirely other prop. Now, how do I make a prop optional? Because this is probably going to complain about any other instance of the channel card that doesn't. Oh no, because I set it default. I have a default. Never mind. So because I set the default here, then it is optional. All right, this is it. It took us an hour, but this is the behavior we want. It's not though, because this ended up scrolling all the way to the bottom. It's scrolling this list to the bottom. Those cards don't have should focus on them. Is my logic wrong? If should focus is true, scroll it. And focus defaults to false. But it only happens on mount. It's not going to get mounted multiple times, is it? I mean, should focus like in the just the general logic is weird. Okay, let's just log really quick. Channel name should focus. Let's also log that it's scrolling. It shouldn't be mounted more than once. Like I mean, again, this is butting up against my potential understanding of Svelte. When the component gets added to the page, it gets mounted. When we add something new, it shouldn't get mounted again. Shouldn't, but let's see. Okay, so we mount each of these. Should focus is false for every single one of them, but this is scrolled to like the center for some reason. That wasn't even happening before. Do I not have a key? I don't have a key. That must be, is that the issue? But here's the thing. Should focus is false. It's false. Yeah, so hard refresh, super hard refresh. Honestly, close the tab. Kill the dev server. Here we go. It did scroll to the center last time? That's all it was. I just had to kill the dev server. Yeah, so mounted, scrolling. Mounted, scrolling. Dang it. Oh, man, I really do hate that. Cool. But this is now broken because it's because I guess it's no, this works because when we add a new one, it's scroll. Wait, is that true? Oh no, they're getting remounted. Yeah, they're getting remounted, and I did not expect that. So maybe we do need a key. Let's go learn about SvelteKit. and they are getting remounted, right? Is that right? Looking at my logs here. Look. Wait. Mounted Mythical Kitchen, scrolling Mythical Kitchen. Why is that the only one that's getting mounted? The first one, the one at the end, is constantly getting remounted. Well, I got rid of the focused attribute, so there's no more focus attribute. So we just have should focus, and the only time it should focus is when it's mounted. Oh, you're totally right, Fun Planet. So when we unshift it, technically the component isn't remounting. It's actually SvelteKit is adding it, or Svelte is adding it to the end of the list, and then just changing the content of the first one in the list, or like, it's like shifting all of it down. Okay, we need keys. I think if we do keys, it's gonna fix this. Right? Each blocks. I've literally never seen keyed each blocks. You put parentheses and then the key that you want. Not there, here. What? is this taking me to this weird definition over here? It's not giving me my type, but that is defined over here. Origin ID. Man, oh man. Okay, so now that they're keyed, do we get the right behavior? All right, everything mounted. We add this. That got mounted. Now, hot dog is a sandwich. Yes. Okay. Keys were the answer. And so like if I scroll down and I add, it scrolls to the top. But now the okay, so that's great. Adding works, but the issue we wanted to fix is if we're down here and we remove an element, we didn't want it to auto scroll, which is perfect. Perfect, because nothing gets mounted. And now if we add another one, that scrolls it to the top. Whew. Why was that so hard? Yeah, so this was definitely one of the main things here to get on mount working, because otherwise it's mounting a different component. But by using keys, it reuses the same element. Great. Great. It should work now. Yeah, it scrolls to the top. Now scroll search results to the top after. Yeah, that's a good call. So now if I search for, because yeah, I think that's it. So now the scroll is like way down here, and if I search for something else, well, it technically scrolls to the top because I think we like wipe out the results. Yeah, it basically just disappears. Somebody had the suggestion earlier though to put the search on top, and I think I agree with that. Let's see what that looks like. We're literally just going to shift these two things. So we're going to put channel search on top of mm, no, it gets a little bit awkward because, well, maybe we want to put channels there. Yeah, I think you're totally right though. On desktop, this should be like a 2-column layout. And instead of just having a max height on channel search, um, we should give it. This should be a max height and a min height, so it's always the same height. So there's no layout shift. Search for a channel. And then we can add it. It gets added below. Cool. And then it does do the shift. Yeah. I think the issue is like, where's our progress bar? We kind of want this parent container here. think. No. I'm not searching on input. It's so there's no debounce. It's basically you have to hit enter. Okay. Maybe not min height. Can I just do, I guess I just want height. There's literally height 96. Yeah. But now it looks really ugly because there's like this big empty space of where the thing is going to fill. But by doing this, there's no layout shift now. Okay, I'm gonna put this back below. Here. And then in the channel search, we should have an else here that just says search for a channel. You're right. This needs to be internationalized. Let's think of some better text though. So I like this one to say search for a channel above to add it to the list. And then this one should say no channels added. Yeah, I like this. Oh, no worries, Fob. Thanks for letting me know. All right. Why does that happen? It got smaller. I don't like that. Hard refresh. This literally has a, oh, we're hiding it when we're loading. This is what we need. So there's going to be a parent container that hides when loading. Okay. We technically want, yeah, the loading to be on top of the text. I don't know. What's up, Findall? Welcome in. There's just so much to like this tiny little piece of the UI. I need to call it quits soon though. So let's just get this working and then we'll go from here. Because really I want, it's fine. Cool. Change main div to max height instead of static. Well, the reason I I changed it before was there's a layout shift, right? So if I search right now, because I have it as a fixed height, if I search for something else, it keeps that height and then adds the results there. Overwhelmed, whelmed, underwhelmed. So that's what that prevents the layout shift, because if I do it as max height, whenever you are loading new results, then it would have shifted the UI, which I don't want. I mean, one nice little add though is like it shouldn't be this height unless we've already searched for something. Then there will be a layout shift. Does that make sense? So like when the page first loads, this will be smaller. Yeah, I think that's basically what we want. So we just kind of want like a has searched. And if has searched is true, then that's when we set the height here. Opposite. So I want to apply the height 96 class if has searched is true, and it should be false. And then when we search, we set has searched to true. All right, this is it. I don't know why it does that weird layout shift, but I'm not going to worry about it. But now it looks like this, and then when you search, there is going to be a layout shift, which is fine. It's totally fine. But now, now there's not a layout shift if you've already been searching. Cool. Yeah, so use enhance comes from SvelteKit, and basically this is a progressively enhanced form. Like technically it should work without JavaScript. The add and remove wouldn't work without JavaScript, but basically like these list of results are actually a form submission rather than like an Ajax request happening on the page. I mean, technically they are an Ajax request happening on the page, but enhance does that for us. If we're in a browser that doesn't support JavaScript, technically this would that remove the bottom create button, I guess because we have one on top. You should be able to click create in either spot. What I will do is give it a little spacing. Wait, what the heck just happened? I will say the SvelteKit auto refresh, like hot reload, it's got some issues. Definitely got some issues. Okay. A floating fixed create button. I'm also not opposed to that, but I don't feel like implementing it today. So I think this is better. This is better than what we had before, because before the UI got smooshed, we kind of fixed it. It still needs some work. Honestly, I need to get a designer in here, also like a user experience designer, and just like someone really good with like layouts. It would be fun to just have a discussion, like what's the best flow for this page here, because there's a lot going on. I do agree with like a lot of the suggestions that have been made. Like, yeah, I think a floating action button makes sense. There's other things we need to think about for, like people have mentioned, accessibility, because like right now we don't have a submit button that we can click on, and technically we should have that instead of just doing it like with the enter key. Yeah, so on a phone it'll look exactly like this. So we do this. I guess it scrolls up when you add. So yeah, I mean, like on mobile, everything is just so cramped, and this is like super cumbersome. I think honestly, what we need is like on mobile, these probably just don't even show the channel name. What is happening? Why did it just zoom? Like, don't even show the channel name, only show the channel avatars. And then, yeah, there's like an X button you can use to click to remove it. That's probably like a way better UI. Yeah, let's write that down as an idea. I'm not going to do it today, but that would be way better. Only show channel avatar with X button / chip. Yeah, and then we could also think about, yeah, so on mobile, maybe the channel search is actually a drawer. So the drawer pops out, you click add, and then like you see all of the channel icons. And then when you click done, maybe it shows the view over here. Yeah. In terms of accessibility, these images do have alt tags. So that would help because their alt is the name of the channel. So that would help with accessibility. UI does 10 out of 10. Thanks, Nikki Poo. Yeah, so for the adding down here, this shows everything. But then once it gets added, we just show like a super compact version of it. I think that's the plan anyways. Okay, I think this is all I'm gonna do today. What else did I have here? Yeah, the channel card styles. Decent. But we need to have an entire stream just to talk about like list create UX. Something like 2-column layout on desktop. Yeah, for if we do the little chip things like show name on hover, a lot of other things we could do. Do I know all the avatars of all the channels? It all comes back from the API. So like when you do a search here, all this info is pulled directly from the API. This piece isn't cached. Coder Garden. That's funny. So this piece comes back from the API, and that's where we get the image from. So yeah, we don't have like every avatar ever. It just comes back from the API. Yeah, and then up here, this could be a horizontal scroll as it adds like each of the icons or something like that. To remove a channel not having its name displaying, that would be bad for the user. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but that's why we have to think about the UX, because showing the channel name on hover, or maybe they're like click to expand. That might even be another cool thing. So like, click to expand, and then this like reveals the remove button, reveals channel name. And so that way they're not buttons, they're actually like little images. So think about it. Imagine all of these are just images, and then when you click on it, it expands into a card like this next to all of the others. And then once it's expanded, you have the option to remove it, or if you click it again, it collapses, that kind of thing. Yeah, not even a modal. I think just an animation, like it expands in place. That might be the best idea we've had yet. It's like just show the icons, and then when you click it, it gives you the more options so you can do things like remove. Great. All right. Let's commit this as just like a work in progress, and we'll go from there. Slide actually, yeah, you could do like like on mobile, slide to remove or add. Yeah, and that's a great point, America 2050, because you don't want to click it and then automatically remove it. Like you click it to reveal the options, and then you can remove it. Okay. Let me check out a branch. Create form styles. Work in progress. Isn't there like a construction emoji? This one. No verify. So that doesn't run the test or the linter because we've got work in progress. But I will push it up to that branch, and then I can start a PR, but we've got work to do. I like that, Veeb. Let me do that really quick. So what you're saying is, over here, scroll to the nearest block. That's a good point, because that was the other weird interaction that was happening is you'd be down here adding something, and then it would scroll up, and you don't want that jump in the UI. So this should fix that, because it'll only scroll within its container. Yeah, it's still kind of doing a thing, though, because you can see that like it's scrolling the page, even though I'm like down here, it's scrolling up even more. Because I kind of only want it to scroll. I guess I don't really even want scroll into view. I kind of want to scroll the container to the top, which is different than, because there's two scrolls right now. You have this outer scroll and then this one. Yeah. What are our other options here? End? The height is changing? Is it though? I don't know. We'll have to worry about that next time. I got to get out of here. Thank you everybody for hanging out today. This was super fun. Um, it's good to hang out with Twitch chat again because we didn't do that for like 3 weeks. Quick shout out for my React Roots course. This is all of the videos and exercises and materials that were used in the course that I taught over the past 2 weeks. So if you go to reactroots.com, you can learn all about it. These are all the lessons that are included. These are all the learning objectives. There are 8 2-hour live streams, and we cover a lot of stuff. It's basically the basics of React and TypeScript, and also all of the stuff about build tools and modern web dev. Yeah, and thanks for hanging out, Jimmy. Thanks for being here. It's $35, which is kind of an amazing deal. Especially like if you watched on Twitch last week, you already saw the level of instruction and detail and everything else. So if you want to learn React, or you know somebody that wants to learn React, let them know, reactroots.com. I need to create an overview video. So right now, this just has all of the live streams that happened last week that are edited down. I removed all of the breaks. I removed all of the intros. So each one is 2 solid hours of content. I need to make an intro video that, like, for people that haven't heard of it, that know you, that walk you through what is available and stuff like that. Because right now that's not there, but you do get access to all that stuff. You can just start watching at the first video, download the materials. Yeah. No, it was the same course. So basically the way this worked was starting from April 10th to April 21st, I did a live course. And so there were 20 people that paid $150 and they got access to the classroom. So when I was giving these lessons, they were in the Discord, they were asking questions, etc. And all of that got recorded, and all of the resources and everything are now available. So basically, if you didn't get in to be a part of the classroom, now you can do it in kind of a self-paced fashion. But all of the lessons are basically the lessons that I taught the class that paid to be there. But for $35, you get access to all the same slides, exercises, and everything else that they got access to. You just don't get access to direct help from me. You can still ask for help in the Discord, but there's no guarantee of how long it's going to take for somebody to get back to you, that kind of thing. But yeah, check out this course, and then also follow and subscribe over on YouTube. I'm doing my best, and the views are down. So if you can watch my videos, even if you watched it live, put it on in the background. It really helps out with the channel. And I'll see you next week. So I don't have the schedule up for next week, but I think my plan going forward is a stream on Monday and a stream on Friday. So the idea is Monday is going to be like content that will potentially be turned into YouTube videos, because I'm going to try to start uploading to YouTube more frequently to get more traction, that kind of thing. So check the calendar, but very likely I'll be live on Monday. And also follow over on my my personal channel. I have a personal channel over here, W3CJ. I might do an IRL stream this weekend on my personal channel. All right, we'll see you later, Alka. Yeah, I've seen certifications. This is like an official cert that you can get for being a Vue dev. I don't have one. I don't know if I'd get one, but it seems interesting. All right, let's go on a raid. Again, this was fun. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. Here are the raid messages. If you're a sub, you can use this raid message. If you're not a sub, you can use this raid message. And you can also come up with your own raid message. But wherever we go, show them lots of love. Drop a follow if you like what they're doing. And yeah, and thank you, Electrothermal. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you next week. Reactroots.com. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.